wrong what happened to him. I don't think anybody should be shot for their First Amendment right, but I also think if you're a bad person and something bad happens to you, I have a right, as does anybody, to share what they think about that opinion. So
he's one of a handful of Idahoans, government employees who have been either laid off or put on leave because of what they posted to social media post-assassination of Charlie Kirk. On personal accounts, mind you, not governmental accounts. And as you heard, David Barachoa stands by what he wrote on Instagram following a vigil held for the conservative activist, propagandist, free speech advocate, whatever you want to call him. LMAO, he wrote. Charlie is burning right now, followed by 3 fire emojis. He wrote that last Thursday, following the vigil held on the state capitol steps the night before. And it wasn't long after that David was swept up in the social media McCarthyism spurred by the likes of the Idaho Freedom Foundation. The next day, he learned he had been fired from his job with the Human Rights Commission, the Idaho Human Rights Commission, which is under the Idaho Department of Labor. David admits being raised in a Basque family, a matriarchal culture, and with 2 sisters, he does lean a little bit left. But he made it clear those politics in no way showed themselves at a job he held for fewer than 6 months, answering phones as a record specialist. Since losing his government job, David has refused to remain silent, following the same ideology that caused him to post his comment about the death of Charlie Kirk in the first place.
Because I don't think that we should be whitewashing his history to all of a sudden act like he was a person who never did anything wrong just because of what happened to him, I think is silly, and I think we have a duty to correct the record and make sure that history does remember both sides. Like, you can have both of those things in your hands, the fact that he was a victim of political violence, but also stowed the same division that ultimately, I think, contributed to what happened to him. So,
do you think what you posted sums that up?
Yeah, absolutely. I think what I said, you can say was insensitive, and I think that people can point the finger and say it was divisive, but I think the main difference here is that Charlie Kirk was somebody who did this kind of thing for a living, and I'm sure he was acutely aware of the risks that he took signing up for that job and using his freedom of speech to do the things that he wanted to do.
What you said isn't glorifying political violence?
I don't think so, because what I was speaking on was after. Look, if he had passed away in a car accident, I probably would have said the same thing. That's not the situation we're in, but I don't think me talking about where he went for eternity is necessarily glorifying the political violence.
You could have said nothing. I mean, as somebody who's familiar with what happens on social media, you could have said nothing.
Yeah, I'm not a fence sitter. Ultimately, silence is the biggest enemy. I think that we have a duty to, like I said, make sure that history remembers the actual truth of the situation.
And you lost your job because of it?
Absolutely, yeah, I lost my job.
Is that what they told you?
They didn't really tell me much, to be honest. I woke up Friday morning to an email from HR that just said, I'm no longer employed, effective Friday, August 12th.
Did you ask why?
I did, yeah. Well, what was written in the letter was in unsatisfactory completion of probationary period. I was coming up on my 6th month. So when I asked why, they just said, you didn't complete your probationary period. And that's the only information I ever received.
What'd you think of that?
People that were bigger than the Department of Labor stepped in and forced their hand. I had never once been disciplined, never been written up. Just a few weeks ago, texted my boss and said, hey, are there performance evaluations? I would like to get some pointers on, what I could improve on. And my boss was just like, well, you'll get an official performance evaluation after your 6-month probationary period. But as of right now, you're the best person we've ever had on the phones. And I think you're doing a really good job. And so I felt good,
Now what?
I want to get my story out there. I think it speaks for itself. But ultimately, my desire is exposure, I guess. I want this story out there. I want people to see what's happening in places like Idaho.
So you think this is a First Amendment thing?
I do, and case law would agree. I think that what we're dealing with here is a loud minority. I think the majority of people would probably say that what I said was wrong and insensitive, but I also don't deserve to get fired from my job because of it. I think that's what most people are going to believe.
So no regrets?
None whatsoever. I've always been a person who's been outspoken on the things I believe in, and that's not going to change now. I'm here right now against the wishes of my mom, my dad, my grandparents, my girlfriend, my girlfriend's mom. Virtually everybody said I shouldn't be coming on the news, but I'm going to do what I want to do.
Why? Why are you doing it then?
It's important. People need to speak up for what's right, and I think this is right. You shouldn't have to worry about getting fired because your boss doesn't like something you tweeted from a private account.
David wanted to make clear his comment does not reflect on the people he worked with at the Idaho Human Rights Commission. They're good people, he told us, and if he regrets anything about this situation, it's that they now have 8 people instead of 9 to deal with the hundreds of claims from across the state of Idaho. For their part, the Department of Labor told us they cannot comment on why David was terminated, personnel matter and all, but they did confirm as of Friday, Mr. Barry Ochoa no longer works for the Human Rights Commission. The IHRC remains committed to maintaining the public's trust and upholding its core value of fairness, end quote. David told us he plans to speak with an attorney to find out his legal options with regard to the First Amendment.